Welcome to another episode of the Building Well podcast. I'm your host, Amanda Mago, founder of Ahadi Creations, providing brand and website design and business consulting for female founders. This podcast is full of candid conversations with female entrepreneurs with the aim of sharing insights from their journeys while encouraging you to stay on yours. Let's dive in. Before we get into more details, can you tell us what you do and who you help?
Yeah, so I am an SEO, Pinterest, and AI search strategist. So basically, I help small businesses show up in search, whether it's on Google, on Pinterest, or now on ChatGPT and Gemini and all the other new AI platforms that are coming out. I work primarily with small businesses, a lot in like the creative and holistic industry. So a lot of like interior designers, therapists, midwives, photographers, kind of a little mix. Most of them are pretty small. They are either solopreneurs or maybe have like just a couple of team members.
Okay. That sounds fun. I
hmm
haven't entered the Pinterest world, but it is on my list. And I love
hmm
Pinterest outside of that.
hmm
But yes, that is my to do. So you're reminding me of that.
Yeah.
So how would you describe the season you are in business right now, if you kind of
hmm
consider what's going on with you?
Yeah. So this is my busy season, just kind of like in the busy doing client work,
Mhm.
trying to scale my business a little bit.
Okay.
I've been in business for going on 9 years. So things are like fairly steady, but always
Mhm.
looking to grow.
Sure.
hmm
So you catch all the people whose ambition has just stopped,
Yeah.
like, now we're done.
Yeah. hmm
Okay, that's cool. And you are juggling little ones in your life. How
hmm
many kids do you have and how old are they?
Yeah, I have a 3.5-year-old and a 18-month-old, both girls.
Okay.
hmm
Oh, two girls. Okay.
Yeah. hmm
Yeah, so you're in the trenches for sure,
Yeah.
having to deal with that. Okay.
Yeah, we
I love
finally have the 18-month-old like sleeping through the night, but it
Oh,
took a
wonderful.
while.
Okay. But you made it, so that's a good
Yeah,
thing.
yeah,
That's a good
finally.
thing. That's
hmm
a good thing. We'll have to circle back to talking about how you manage being a mom too.
Mm,
So client-wise, how have you found most of your clients? How do you market? Do you network? How do you,
mhm.
what's your usual?
Actually, a lot come from podcasts.
Okay.
I just love doing podcast interviews because I love, talking about SEO and Pinterest strategies, but I never
Okay.
want to have my own podcast and have to manage
Oh,
it myself.
yes, that
But
makes sense.
yeah, I'm always happy to go on podcasts and, share tips and latest trends and things like that. The other two main ones where I get clients are Google, and then also
Okay.
from referrals. So a lot of like past clients or I partner with a lot of like website designers and copywriters. So, if their clients want to add on some, SEO work to their website design work or their, copywriting work, then they'll send their clients over to me.
What's your softwares and tech that kind of help you keep things running on the back end?
hmm Dubsado is probably the
Okay.
main
Like the
tool I
Saba.
use for, yeah, client management, all my, invoicing,
Mhm.
contracts, calendar, everything's kind of through Dubsado.
Okay.
Other than that, I use a lot of like Google Drive.
Okay, you
So
like
not
Google
not a
too.
lot of like fun tools. I'm pretty low tech.
Okay.
For like the SEO side, I use a lot of like keyword research tools and things like
Mhm.
that. But kind
Mhm.
of the business management's pretty simple.
Okay. That's good. Simplicity is good. And when you have
hmm
a tool that's robust enough for what you need, then that helps you to
hmm
be simple too. That's good.
Yeah.
Okay. So how are you adjusting with the AI integration in the
hmm
business world? What are
Yeah.
you up to?
The AI search side of my business is definitely newer. I
Okay.
think I started it like kind of in October, November of 2025. Um, because I mean, it's not going anywhere.
Mhm. Yeah.
And I've been going to a lot of like SEO conferences and doing some AI search certifications and things like that to make sure I'm, staying on top of all of the
Nice.
trends, all of the changes. Like, I mean, right
Mhm.
now, ChatGPT is rolling out ads in their free versions. So
Yes.
things are
Mhm.
always changing.
Mhm.
But kind of like there is a huge overlap between, SEO and AI search and making sure that like your website has informative website copy. So search engines, AI platforms understand what you do in order to, rank and recommend you.
Mhm.
So making sure that like people who need help with the AI search side, they're already kind of focusing on SEO or offering them SEO help if they need that in addition to kind of the AI search strategies.
Okay. And I like that because I was just talking to someone else recently. I'm wanting to increase the conferences I go to, and I want to do
Mm-hmm.
more like tech type conference. I like tech.
Mm-hmm.
So with the SEO conferences, is it specific to SEO? SEO? Like
Yeah, so
site?
most of the ones that I go to are specific to SEO. They sometimes will have like some paid search or some like social media speakers, but they are
Hmm.
like really centered on SEO.
Okay, and you just Googled that, I assume. Or how do you find,
Yeah.
how have you been finding yours?
Um,
The ones you've
Probably
gone to?
recommendations or like I'll
Okay.
see some SEO people that I follow that they're going to, some SEO conferences and things like that.
Mm,
One that I love is Women in Tech SEO. It's just for women. So that one I've been going to that one, I think since like 2020. And
okay.
they've kind of
Hmm.
expanded to some other cities. I will say a lot of the SEO conferences are in Europe, so they're a little bit harder to get to,
Okay.
but they have started expanding to the US. So, like Women in Tech SEO, they have now two conferences in the US. There's a big one called Brighton SEO. So, they have also expanded to like San Diego. So, they're starting to come more to North America, but a lot of them are
Okay.
kind of based
So
in Europe.
so you get good trips when you go to yours.
Yeah, yeah. So I went to one in October in Amsterdam. Half of the reason why I wanted to go
Oh,
was so I could go to Amsterdam.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Wow, that's
so
nice.
hmm
And
yeah, it was
can
a
you
good
take your
conference
kids
too.
with you or do you get a break?
That one I got a break. My
Okay.
youngest, she has been to two SEO conferences with me.
Okay.
My
Mm.
oldest, she's been to a business retreat in Spain with me. So
Oh.
usually when they're like babies and I still want
Uh-huh.
to go to things, I'll bring them with me.
Yeah, that's understandable.
But I think
Yeah,
though,
Amsterdam is nice.
yeah, that trip, I
Mm.
think that was the first time I think I'd been away from both kids for the first time. So
Okay.
it was a nice break.
Okay. I was gonna say, how did you feel? Because I
Yeah,
know it can go either
it
way.
was a very needed break. Yeah.
Okay, good for you.
hmm
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, being in, they are trenches for sure.
Yeah.
So to
hmm
breathe. Yeah, I saw a funny reel recently between parents. The father, to make it quick, the father said he was gonna take out the trash and
hmm
he spent all day out of the house. Um and then because she said, take out the trash, I need you to change her diaper when you come back. He said, yeah, I'll be right back. And he spent all day carrying around the bag, right?
Oh
So
yeah.
then when he came back, um, she started walking out the door and he's like, where are you going? She said, oh, I'm going to take out the trash. And she took a flight. I thought of that. You made me think of
Yeah.
that. Who you say you went? So yes, we need our breaks for sure. We need our
Yes.
breaks. So what can you tell us about how you're able to manage having young children?
hmm
Myself, I have a 2, 4, and 6-year old.
hmm
So I know what you're going through.
Yeah.
So how are you managing
hmm
your like weekly schedule being a
hmm
mom and working?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not easy.
Mm.
I try to get all the childcare I can. For my second baby, she was much more stubborn and would not take a bottle for anything, and then
Okay.
also wanted to nurse like every hour. She was a big baby. She still is
Oh.
a big baby.
Hmm.
So she was really tricky because I couldn't get childcare for her. I had to be, with her basically the whole day. So we did have a nanny who would come to our house a couple of times or a couple days a week for our oldest daughter. So she would kind of take the baby in like 30-minute increments and then, I
Okay.
would take her back for like naps and nursing. So it
Okay.
definitely got complicated. It was
Hmm.
really nice when she was able to eat solids and I could start getting more
Hmm.
consistent childcare for her. But kind of just, I tried to limit the calls that I would go on.
Okay.
I mean, in my email subject, or not email subject, email signature.
Hmm.
I still have like, I'm working from home with a baby, so, thanks for your patience. Or whenever clients schedule calls with me or prospective clients, in my like call confirmation emails, I let them know that I have kids at home with me. So that way, from the beginning, they understand
Yes.
that there might be noises in the background
Yes.
or, my baby might be joining us for a call. I also really tried to limit the video calls,
Okay.
just because I would have to kind of like nurse, on
Yes.
demand and I couldn't
Hmm.
really schedule calls around that schedule.
Yes.
Um, so
Okay.
just kind of trying to limit all of the calls as
Hmm.
possible, limit
Hmm.
video calls, and then just make sure everyone knows from the beginning that I have
Yes.
little kids.
Clear
Yeah,
expectations.
and most of the time everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, I would love to see your baby on the video." So,
Yeah. Yeah.
if anyone had a problem with it, then it wasn't a good fit anyway.
Absolutely.
But most
Absolutely.
people were like totally understanding.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I did see that on your email. I said, oh, I like
Hmm.
that. Like, yeah, I have a life. I have a
Yeah.
family. So,
Hmm.
yeah, that's good. That's good. What would you say was the hardest adjustment because you had, based on their ages, you had your business first.
Yeah.
So,
Hmm.
what would you say was one of the biggest challenges you had
Hmm.
when you became a mom, since you're already, with your
Yeah.
business?
I mean, I think definitely just not having control over my schedule anymore. I'm the default parent for everything because my husband works in medicine, so he can't drop everything and,
Uh-huh.
be home if our kid is sick or
Hmm.
needs a doctor's appointment or,
I understand that.
yeah. And he also so we were talking about before, but we're getting ready to move in a couple weeks because he started a new job a few months ago and his commute's been like an hour and a half and he already works like 10-hour days, so he was like
Yes.
never home.
Yep.
So we're moving
Mhm.
closer to his job, which is it's going to be good.
Good. Good for you.
But yeah, so if something were to ever happen, snow days, which we've had, I'm always the default parent. I'm the one who has to, adjust my schedule. So I think that was kind of the hardest adjustment
Hmm.
was
Hmm. Hmm.
if there's a snow day, I can't just sit at home and get my work done anyway. I now have children that I have to entertain and take care of, and so then I have to reschedule any calls that I have or push back projects if I need to. So
Hmm.
that was an adjustment.
What language? And I actually, because on your email signature, it was written so nicely. What language do you use when you have to push back a
Mhm.
project or something?
It doesn't happen very often where I have to push back projects because I do
Okay.
try to add like a
A
significant
buffer.
buffer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Same. Same.
Just in case something happens.
Absolutely.
So I mean, even like in January alone, we've had like snow days. We
Mhm.
lost power when we had snow days. I had like a family emergency come up and I had to like travel out of state.
Mm.
But so I definitely felt kind of like stressed trying to stay on top of all the work, but because I'd given myself the buffer, I didn't have to like let clients know that I was pushing anything back. If that were the case, it would usually just be like maybe a couple days, or I would try to explain what was going on and why I would need to, adjust things. The biggest
Yeah.
thing is like rescheduling calls. So, but people understand like if I don't have power, I can't talk to
Yeah.
you, or if
Yeah.
I have my little kids home, you might not want to have a call with me just because they are going to be kind of distracting. So
Right.
most people have been understanding if, things come up and things have to get rescheduled.
Yeah, I would say that's probably, I agree with you. It's probably the best thing to do as a parent who is the default,
Hmm.
um, to have huge buffers in
Yeah.
your project timelines. Yeah, I've done that
Hmm.
as well.
Yeah.
It's necessary. Yeah.
Hmm. And then if
Yeah.
you don't need the buffer, then the client is happy that you got the project done
Absolutely.
early.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a win-win. If you're in that in-between stage where things are working, but not as intentionally or as aligned as you would like them to, that's exactly where I support my clients. Visit my website, ahadicreations.com, to learn more. So we know that mindset is important to keep us
Hmm.
driven, to keep us going, especially when we might not have as much energy,
Hmm.
as women, first of all, but also having these little people.
Hmm.
What do you have quotes or something you repeat to yourself or something you tell yourself when you're having a day where you just prefer to stay in the bed, but you know you have to
Hmm.
get up and do work?
Um, Not anything specific. I kind of just
Okay.
try to keep, you know, whatever goal I want for the end of the day in mind to kind of like keep myself motivated. I also have days where like I really don't want to get anything done and I just need to sit on the couch or something. So, I'll also try to give myself, that space if I need to
Okay.
rest or, if the baby was up all night and I need to take a nap.
Yes,
So I
absolutely.
do try to give myself that flexibility if
Uh-huh.
I need it. And then if like I really have to get stuff done, then just kind of try to get in the zone and start focusing.
Yeah, because there's two sides of mindsets. Like some people are like, do it no matter how you feel because you need to get it
Hmm.
done. And then the other side is like, well, no, if you need to rest, I'm going to sleep.
Hmm.
So it's like
Yeah.
two extremes. I mean, they're
Yeah.
both are needed at different points.
Hmm.
But yeah.
And I found that if I'm able, like if I need a nap, when I need a nap, it's only like 20 minutes. My husband can take like 2-hour naps.
Mhm.
I don't. I could never do that.
Oh, okay,
But
okay,
if I'm able
okay.
to kind of like give myself that rest and, take a quick power nap, then I am a lot more energetic and able to
Hmm.
kind of like focus on whatever I need to get done. So even if I have a lot to get done, I do try to rest if I need it, and then I feel better about getting everything done.
Hmm. Hmm. Have you seen anything shift in how you see yourself lately while dealing with the day-to-day business operations?
I
Yeah.
would definitely say when we first started having kids, I was amazed how much I could get done in a short window.
Yeah.
Because before, I mean, I would have all day to get, things done, and if I
Hmm.
only had like an hour when, the baby would be napping or something,
Hmm.
I could be so productive. So I think I didn't really see that side of myself until I had kids, and I was kind of like forced to, you know, stay
Hmm.
focused and get as many things done in a short window as I could.
Okay, okay. So I know, myself included, but many people have like home systems,
Mhm,
work systems, like life routines.
mhm.
Are you a systems person, like home systems and resets and morning routines? Are you that kind of person, or are you just, tell me, where do you
No,
stand?
I I wish I was that person. Yeah, it's just kind of like chaos with little kids.
Hmm.
And I've kind of just like leaned into that, and
Okay.
um I know it's not going to be forever. Yeah, cuz I mean, one thing with my husband, he like leaves for work at like 6:30 in the morning.
Hmm.
So then I'm in charge of, the kids in the morning and
Yeah.
getting them dressed and fed
Hmm.
and like emptying the dishwasher and like all the things you have to get done. There's no system. I kind of just like have to power through and know that,
You
I
have a
mean, once,
rhythm.
yeah, I have a rhythm. I don't have a
Yeah.
system, but yeah, I have a rhythm.
Yeah. Yeah. You have a rhythm for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand those mornings for
Hmm.
sure.
Yeah.
That's good. Um, so what would you say are some of the lessons that you've learned with being in business for so long? What you
Mm-hmm.
mentioned some of the many things that you've had to endure in the duration of your business. You had mentioned COVID,
Hmm.
your pregnancies, you switched from freelancing to specific what you're serving. What can you tell us
Hmm.
more about what you've endured and what you've learned from
Hmm.
it and all those things?
Well, I think definitely leaning into the chaos when it happens sometimes, making sure that you have some flexibility built into your schedule, is a big thing. Even if you don't have kids, like things can always
Hmm.
happen, or yeah, you can have a snow day and lose power and,
Hmm.
lose a whole day of work or something. So making sure you have some flexibility and definitely understanding that there will be highs and then there will also be lows that you have no control over, like COVID, like no one saw that coming.
Right, exactly.
So that
Yeah.
was really hard for a lot of businesses. So if you have like making sure you have some business savings or something, set aside to kind of get you through those really unexpected hard times is helpful. Because yeah, you'll be, if you can get out on the other side, then you'll have learned a lot and you'll be, yeah, a lot stronger for it. But kind of making sure that you have systems in place or, savings set aside to kind of like get you through those really lows can help. Yeah, I've been through COVID, two
Yeah.
maternity leaves, which was the maternity leaves were actually totally fine, and I had team
Okay.
members who were able to kind of like, take over any projects that I had, but it was
Okay.
actually the coming back from maternity leave that was really hard
Okay.
because I felt like my business had lost a lot of the momentum, even though I had kind of
Mm.
had like my marketing scheduled and everything.
Right.
But I think I just didn't feel like I was coming back, as strong as I had kind of like, quote, finished before maternity leave. And then just kind of like getting everything geared up again, like doing more podcast interviews or creating new relationships with like people I could
Hmm.
partner with, things like
Hmm.
that took a lot longer to build up and like start working
Yes.
again every time. So that's one thing I really wasn't mentally prepared for going into maternity leave. Obviously, I came out the other side.
Yes. Yes.
But for anyone who is kind of planning, parental leave or any sort of like extended sabbatical or
Hmm.
something like
Hmm.
that, just kind of be prepared that like once you come back, you might not be able to hit the ground running. You might have to kind of like have that runway to, build things up again.
Hmm. So with podcasting, well, how many do you have on your team, or how many people help you?
Two very
Okay.
part-time contractors. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Because I was just saying, like with your podcast, since you do them regularly,
Mhm.
what's your method for sourcing?
So I actually just started outsourcing like podcast pitching like a month ago.
Okay, okay.
So still
Mhm.
pretty new to that. But before it was kind of just like whenever someone, said they were looking for guests, or if one of my business friends was on a podcast where I thought it would be a good fit and they could connect to me. So it's kind of just like I didn't
Mm.
really have a system with it. It was
Okay.
just as I saw a podcast that I was interested in or I thought I could, help their audience. That's where I kind of try to form those relationships.
When when you had mentioned that you switched from freelancing to
Mhm.
specifically doing SEO AIO, what specific adjustments did you have to make in your marketing or your
Mhm.
mindset? Or actually it was both, but
Yeah.
what can you share with someone who's going through that transition as well?
Mhm. Yeah, so I think that was definitely a mindset change. So when I to kind of like back it up a little bit, but I was working a boring corporate job. I wanted to quit to go to grad school and I wanted
Okay.
a flexible schedule. So I started freelancing to be able to still, work while in grad school, but, work on my own terms. I didn't know that online business was a thing. This was like 9 years ago.
Mhm,
So
mhm,
it wasn't quite as, prevalent as it is today.
mhm.
But, kind of the expectation out of college was like you get a job and you work. So I didn't really know the whole online business world was a thing until I started freelancing.
Okay.
So when I first started freelancing, I was kind of like taking on whatever random jobs I could find. I was doing a lot of content writing because my background was
Okay,
in
I was gonna ask,
journalism.
or okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So and I
That's
also had
nice.
a
Journalism.
yeah, so I had a
Mhm.
travel photography site. I still have it.
Mm,
But I had launched that because I wanted a creative outlet when I was in my really boring job.
yes,
So I
understandable.
learned all, SEO and marketing and things like that to help that website grow. So then I started implementing that
Mm,
for a lot of the clients that I was working with. And then I realized they didn't know what SEO was or, what I was doing.
mm.
So that's when I started to realize that I could focus on, solely like SEO. I didn't have to be a freelancer I was doing like graphic design for an opera company and like
Oh,
really, yeah,
yes.
like very random jobs. I
Cool.
was working for
That's
like,
interesting.
a compostable toilet company, like writing
Oh,
content. Yeah.
I know about those.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
okay.
like very random, all over the place
Those were
jobs.
niche. Those are
Yeah.
niches in
Yeah.
themselves. You were looking for your
Yeah.
niche.
Yeah, I was definitely looking
There
for
you
my
go.
niche. I was like trying out all these things. I was doing like Instagram and Facebook management for some clients, realized I
Okay.
hated that.
Yeah.
So then after kind of probably took about a year, that's when I started solely focusing on SEO and Pinterest. Because I really did enjoy Pinterest because it is more of a search engine than,
Yes.
traditional social media.
Hmm.
So I'll say bad advice coming from an SEO person, but I didn't have a website for the first year.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was experimenting. I didn't know what I
Sure.
wanted to do. I didn't know
Mhm.
what I was doing. So I didn't have a website. I didn't have a business name until
Mhm.
like, you know, after I started focusing more on SEO and Pinterest. So that first year was like total
Yeah.
experimentation,
Yeah.
figuring
Yeah.
out
Yeah. Mhm.
everything.
Sure.
And then, yeah, I did have to kind of like adjust my mindset where I was taking on clients. I wasn't
Mhm.
taking on just work. So kind of shifting how I was like talking with, prospective clients, talking about projects, changing my rates to being project based, not like hourly or just, kind of like, as they needed it or
Mhm.
something like that,
Mhm.
and kind
Mhm.
of building my services more around like systems and
Yeah.
packages rather than kind of like, ad hoc things.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
there was definitely a lot of shifting going from like the freelance side to being a business owner.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. I recently attended a webinar. It was like a high-end webinar, but one of the things that was said was reminding people to sit with your ecosystem or your
Hmm.
offers long enough to see if they even work.
Yeah.
So once you found your offers or what you wanted to
Hmm.
have, how long did you stay with them until you revised them again?
Hmm. I would say it was probably fairly continuous that I was kind of like updating, adding new services, changing services. I've probably had, other than the new AI services, I've probably had the like Pinterest and SEO services that I've had for at least 2 years now because I've seen that they work.
Mhm.
It's, meets what my clients need and things like that. But probably up until then, I was kind of like adjusting things
Looking
maybe
for
every
what's
couple of
happening.
months. Yeah,
Hmm.
as I found that clients would come to me with different types of problems that my projects weren't addressing, tweaking them to kind of like match better what they needed.
Hmm. Going from freelancing to, I think most of us when we're starting, not all, but most go
Hmm.
through that. You're trying to find your
Hmm.
niche. Will I do opera? Will I do RV
Yeah.
life? Will I do? What will I do?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. That's interesting though. That I would actually
Uh-huh.
be curious, and I'll have to check out your travel site. I'm into
Hmm.
photography as well, so I'll
Yeah,
have to
I
see.
don't get to update it very much, but it's still
Yeah,
there,
yeah.
still running in the background. And also another random thing is, so I wanted to go to grad school to study history and the Viking Age.
Oh,
So
that
that's
should have been
another
your
just like,
niche.
yeah, I know. So I've really been like all over
All
the
over.
place.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. That's interesting. That's
Yeah.
interesting. Do you like those type conferences where they dress up kind of
Oh,
around?
like Renaissance fairs?
Yeah, yeah,
I
stuff like that.
haven't been to one since I was like a kid. I do kind of want
Okay,
to go back to one.
okay.
Yeah, they do
I,
seem
I
fun.
I do know some people who go to those, and they're
Hmm.
very much so fans
Yeah.
of that.
And they have
Oh
really
yeah,
good food there. They have like
that's what I have
giant
heard.
like turkey legs and stuff.
Yes,
Hmm.
yeah, I've heard about the food. That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I appreciate your insights and your stories and everything you've
Hmm.
shared today. If
Yeah, thanks for having me.
is there an offer or something, where can people
Hmm.
find you, learn about you, all those good things?
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, if you want to go to my travel site, it's through juliaslens.com.
Okay.
On the business side, my website is juliareneeconsulting.com. You can also find me on Instagram at Julia Renee Consulting. I'm on mostly on LinkedIn. I need to get better
Okay.
about LinkedIn. And then, yeah, I do have some SEO and Pinterest freebies on my website. If you want to learn how to, rank higher on Google, get more traffic from Pinterest, you can find those kind of towards the bottom of my homepage, and then also on
We'll
any
link
blog
them.
posts.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Hmm. Okay. All right. Thanks so much. We appreciate your time today.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming on the show. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode. The links to connect with today's guest can be found in the show notes, as well as all the links that were mentioned and any resources that would benefit you from today's episode. Check out the show notes that you'll find linked below this episode. You can also visit ahadicreations.com, AHADI creations.com/podcast for the show notes as well. If anything resonated with you today, leave a review. Let us know what your takeaways were. What are you going to implement? Be sure to also follow along wherever you prefer to listen to your podcast so that you don't miss the next one with us. Thank you so much. And always remember, together we can build.